Hi, everyone. So my name is Nehal. I'm a front-end developer. I do Angular 2 with Material PrimeNG. PrimeNG we started because Material didn't exist then. So as Krill said in the beginning, I'm a living example of how I progress. Like first 5 meetup, I just came to see stuff. Then I started getting involved. I did 2 as event host. This is my 3rd one. And in 3rd one, somehow I became a speaker. So progression is good. So I'm going to talk about Angular Material, as you can see in the header. It basically gives you the UI components. Nothing with Material. It's just there are many other libraries available if you want to look at PrimeNG. There's like ng Bootstrap-like libraries. But I like Material because they do a rigorous testing for browser compatibility. At my work, I have to make everything compatible with IE 11 plus others. So Material gives the unit testing. They do a very good work of making compatible with IE 11. And then I also felt like talking about Flex Layout because I saw a lot of people asking, oh, Material gives you UI components, but how do we make it responsive? Because then we have to bring in Bootstrap. So Flex Layout is actually, if you look into GitHub, it's under Angular's mother library. So Flex Layout is basically part of Angular, and Flex Layout allows you to make your application using UI of Material and making it responsive. So I'm going to get started with setting up Angular Material. The first thing you go, angularmaterial.io, click here, get started, and then you get all the information. So I think knowledge is power, so I guess you guys can read and do the setup by yourself. I'm not going to run these comments because it's just you copy paste and run them in your command. So basically it will be just all these commands, npm install. And then once you do the install, then comes the part where you have to bring them in your application. So I already did it, so I'm going to just do Control-Z. OK. Now, Material requires a browser animation module because, oh, I should show my slide. So first is setup, which I'm going to go through now. And I put beta 2.0, beta 8, because beta 7 came out like 2 weeks before beta 8. So if you're not up to the version, a lot of things will not work. Like if you're on Angular 2, the latest version of Material would work is Material beta 0.2. So as soon as you move to beta 3, you have to go to Angular 4. That's one of the breaking change. If you go to beta 8, you need to install Angular CDK. After beta 7, CDK is a requirement. So without CDK, Angular beta 8 is going to fail. Also, I think when you go to beta 8, beta 3, you need to download animation separately because they took out on beta 8, beta 3, they took out animation from regular module. So all those things, you can read about those changes in their changelog. So github.com, Angular. So here's the beta 8 breaking 8 changes. And before that, the major version was beta 3. And I know them by heart because they made me cry a lot of times. Because whenever my deployment fails, I know Material 8 came out with a new version. Material came out with a new version. So here they say now this requires 4, and then animation was taken out. So let's get with setup now. So we bought in browser module. So beta 8 allows you to bring in modules that you need. So if you don't need all modules, you can just pick and choose what modules you want to use in your application. So like over here, we have button modules, navbar, and side nav. So if you're just using those three in your application, you can keep them. Or if you want everything, then you can bring everything. So I'm just going to go somewhere and bring all of them. So as you can see, there's a whole chunk of them. So if you want to just get it from somewhere, don't sweat on it, just copy paste. And of course, once you import, you have to also put it in the app module imports. The style is also very important. Without the styles, the component won't work properly. So they tell you these things, animation, very beginning steps, and then they say include a theme, because they should make this bold, but they don't. Including a theme is required to make the components work properly. There are indigo-pink CSS, and material comes with 3 more, actually 4 in total. So these are the 4 ones. So whatever color combination you like, you can use them. So if you're using CLI, it's pretty simple. You go to style CSS, and you just throw the style sheet in there. So I'll show you an example without a style sheet. So let's say I brought in a button, and I don't specify a color. I save it. So this is the CLI's opening page. So last 8% could be just material. So here's my button test, and it's very pale. Now, if I want to add the color, so it wouldn't do anything because it doesn't know what color primary means. So once you add the style sheet, now it will know the primary. By primary, you mean, oh, it should be purple because I'm using, I think, indigo pink, so it's going to be indigo. So here's your color. And then it has 2 more. So it's primary, accent, and third one, probably error. So accent is pink. There's a third parameter. I just don't remember top of my head. We can look it up. Warren, yeah, thank you. So and that one is orange. Now, if you change the indigo to something that one of the 3 other 4, you can see they're changing colors. So that was with setup. And then the next was in my slide styles. So we went over that. Now comes examples. So material doc comes with a lot of good examples. If you go in components, autocomplete, and all the examples are very well documented. You can easily click and pop it out in a Plunkner. And with the codes, to your requirement, you can change the codes and see how it deals with it. So let's say autocomplete, they simply give you plain sight, a simple drop-down like this. But then if you read through their overview or API, there are many instances they tell you like how to bind with an object, because those were just plain letters. One very cool feature of autocomplete is they allow you to have a separate display than the object, or if an object has multiple properties, you can pick which one to show. So like, I'll show you an example. So separate. So this is a simple example I had where my object has country property and country ID. So if I run it, in the dropdown, I just show the country names, United States of America, Kingdom, UAE. But once you pick it, it returns you the whole object. And then from the object, you can pick what you want. Like if you're trying to matching with the ID, now you can pass the ID to something else. So that's the autocomplete. As you can see, there are a bunch of other examples. If you don't have to pop it out, you can just follow codes here. Date picker. All these components, each of them can be a talk themselves because they have so much in them. You can see APIs they have listed here. So I just made this talk kind of to touch on and show you guys that what's around. But additionally, not just these examples, because these examples they put it on the website, doc website, they don't use all the APIs. A majority of them are like hidden. So like I was talking to Bruno, he's like, oh, I don't find these APIs, how to use them. So when I was digging for more insight, so I found they have more examples hidden in their own repo, which is if you go to Angular Material Tools website, and then you go their source, they have something called demo app, which I didn't know about until I looked for it. So, and now if you go to each component in HTML, their examples are not just plain simple like documentations page anymore. Now you compare autocomplete over here to that one. Their HTML is 6 lines over here, but where'd it go? You can see there's a massive difference in the examples. And then you can see multiple APIs that they don't use over there, they use over here. So here you can see they're using the display width. So without even banging your head against the wall how to do it, you can just come and see this example, pick it up from here, and use it on your own app. So that was one of the cool things I found out, and helps me to use material code, because every time I see an API and I don't know how to use, like I remember this one, select index from tabs. They don't have it in the example in the documentation, but if I come here, select, probably was the other thing. Or like active index, selected index. So they have stuff like this API that use in their hidden examples. Probably you can clone this repo and run it and see how these apps runs actually. Usually if the code is good enough for me because I know how they're working. So from my PowerPoint wise, that was the more example section. And probably I'm thinking since I gave my first talk, so I'll give more talks on each component themselves, maybe in the future meetups. But the other important part I want to touch was Angular Flex layout. So I hear a lot of people asking, oh, we do material too. It gives us UI components, but how do we make it mobile friendly? How do we make it responsive? Because material has nothing about responsiveness. So that when we hear responsiveness, people, first thing they mention is Bootstrap. And a lot of people are hesitant to bring Bootstrap with material. So then I tell them about, hey, you have a Flex layout. It does exactly what Bootstrap does. So if you take Bootstrap, Bootstrap gives you UI components plus the responsiveness, whereas material is just components. So when you add Flex layout to it, now you have an equivalent library of Bootstrap. So as setup is black here because I couldn't find the setup documentation. I don't know, they changed it. So setup is pretty simple. All you do is npm install add Angular/Flex layout, and then you do import Flex module. So import looks like, if I have it open, something simple as that. Import Flex layout module, and then you put it in the import, and you're ready to go. So I'll tell you how good Flex layouts APIs are. I find them much more friendlier than Bootstrap for Angular 2. So I have their documentation open. So here's their API doc. This is basically where it starts. They have features like, so Bootstrap gives you columns 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, all the way 12. But Flex layout gives you extra small, small, medium, large, XL. And then you can do mathematical terms like less than small, less than medium, less than large, or greater than. So it's like if you're just coding for small screen versus rest, you can just use one parameter instead of itemizing columns each time. Then comes their breakpoint aliases, their further details. But I like to show some other cool documentation, like ObservableMedia. So what this does is they have this media change and observable media. So it basically watches for the screen size. And whenever screen size changes, you can actually call the media query and do something. Not just CSS, but functional. Like you can do some function running based on screen change, which was pretty awesome, because Bootstrap, you can just do CSS changes. They have flex layout, which grows by, you can tell it how to grow by row or column. I'm going to show that example later. Then start a line, it will be all in that other one. So the other one is you can do show and hide, like we do ngShow and ngIf. So basically, they provide you fxShow for like certain screen size. So you have a div that you want to show for small screen, but not for big screen. So you can use fxShow.extra small, and it will just show it for small screen, but for big screen, it will just hide it. So fxShow, fxHide, and then you have ngClass and ngStyle, just like our regular Angular. But then you can apply it on a small screen or a big screen by screen size. So it just doesn't. It's just not about the condition to be true or falsy. It's just now you have the power to use the screen size on top of it too. So if I come to that example, here's an example of how flex layout works. So as I was saying, you can do by row, by column. And they actually tell you the code if you look at here at the bottom. So they're saying flex layout row. When you say column, it's just simple as that. Now you want to do the alignment. You do start. It just hits all to the top, or start here, center, or to the end. And then this is the perpendicular. So start takes it to the top, center, or end. Or you can do stretch, have space in between. And all this, just they're all APIs. You can see as I'm clicking, they're just changing. And you just have to do that in your own code. Then they have flex layout fill. So if you tell it to fill it, it will just fill rest of the div. You have flex to fill row, same thing. So it's pretty neat. So when you combine this with the power of material, a lot of cool things happen. So that's why I wanted to make it a part of my material talk. Now, for example, like I have a bunch of examples that I write for my Stack Overflow. So I'm just going to show some of them that I think is really cool. So I had one up here. This is just using a simple template with this much of code. I had a toolbar, side nav. In my side nav div, I put a tab group, and I have this button. So combining just 15 lines of code, we have a simple template that you can just use in your mobile. So another one was, like I was saying with flex layout. One guy had a problem where he wants to show tooltip depending on the screen size. So let me see what's breaking. Oh, it's not breaking, it's just loading. So his problem was when it's a small screen size, he doesn't want to show a tooltip. But when it's large, he wants to show the tooltip. So now it's small. So tooltip is still not showing. Now make the screen size medium. And you can see, now I can see the tooltip. And I was doing it not using any CSS, but I have a function that I call. Let me just disable the alert. So how I did it was, like I was saying, I do the media change call. And I look for if it's small or extra small. If it's small or extra small, I say disable tooltip to true. Else, if it's different screen size, make it false, which makes it enable to show the tooltip. And you can only do it because you have the power of flex layout. Like without just CSS, you can just hide tooltip with CSS. Another cool example I have for flex layout is empty grid list. So this guy wanted to change his number of columns in his grid list depending on screen size. So he wanted, so as you can see, I have 3 different screen sizes of the div, 800, 600, and 350. So at 350, he wanted all them to be like column, like we do in Bootstrap. So I just used ngStyle over here, and I say the diff size. He also wanted to change, he made another comment later that he wants the font too. That's why you see the font. But I just bounded the columns to a variable called column num, where I specify you want 3 column, 2 column, or 1. And basically, this is the width size that I'm changing with the buttons, just to show him that it works. But this is the main thing. So when I hit 350, this ngStyle, basically it's the flex layouts, calls and sets the width. So if I go to my component, you can see I have set column num, and then I say, if the offset is less than 400, set this. If it's greater than 400 but less than 800, set column to 2 and font size 24. If it is greater than 800, set column to 3 and font size to 36. So this has been possible because of flex layouts power. So as you can see, if I make it 600, there are 3 columns. And when we make it 800, it becomes 1 row rather than having the mobile column. That's pretty much it I prepared for flex layout-wise. Now, if you have any material question, this material is so open and broad, I don't know really what to show. So if you guys have any question, I'll try to answer that in terms of material.
I'm sorry, I missed the very beginning of the talk. You may have mentioned this. What is the browser compatibility?
So for now, it works for my IE11, Chrome, Firefox. We haven't tried Safari, so I can't talk for Safari.
And under the hood, it uses Flex Layout for CSS?
For Flex Layout, yeah, they use the CSS Flex, but they did a lot with it, so which I can't imagine doing myself.
Do you have any recommendations for any advanced styling on material components?
Advanced styling as in your own styling? Or?
Just digging in. Some material components, I don't know if you work with, I guess, some list, MD list. I mean, the only way I've gotten around it is using that deep attribute on the CSS itself.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Okay.
And you can also override the themes using your own custom theme. So I had this page open I want to show you. So they tell you over here how to create a custom theme. So deep and custom theme would be the way to go.
Thanks a lot, Nehal, for preparing this talk with such short notice.
No problem. Thank you, guys.